So I'm joined now by Jeremy Osborne from Friends of Strathaven Castle, just for
Hi,
an
Les.
update on where things are. So welcome to the show.
Hi Les, thank you for having me. It's good to be back again.
Yeah, it's always good to talk about the castle because it's such an emotive subject in the town and as part of the community. And I know that you've been doing a lot since January, because January was the open day up at Avondale Community Wing.
It was, yes. We had that great session in January where we put on a display of all the information that we had gathered from the council, talking about the surveys and the costings. We had a lot of people come through the door and look at it, and hundreds of people signed our schedule of support. They signed their name to it and gave us a little bit of a sentence about why they like the castle so much, and it showed the outpouring of love there is for that castle, the massive amount of support, not just from the people, but also the local councillors and the politicians who are involved in Strathaven. And it was really successful. And I think if anybody came, they can remember that I put on the wall that we were looking for about £350,000 to consolidate the castle. That's based upon the estimates. And I'd also pulled out of that a sum of £35,000, which I thought was what was necessary to deal with the trees that are growing out of the turret and the other vegetation growing out of the joints. And I was desperate to get that underway before April. Following on from that session, it was so successful, very, very quickly we had the promise of funding to that tune of £35,000 to do that work. And that then enabled us to take the next step, to start getting a contract in place to do the work. And that then revealed all sorts of problems that we'd really not been aware of. I myself, I have to say, I overlooked the problem that arises when you've actually dealt with the roots, because the intention was to chop off all the excess wood and inject or put a tablet in to rot the roots, and that's what I priced up. What I'd overlooked and what was made clear to me by Strathaven Council's contract people was that when those roots have gone away, there's a void. And we might actually create a lot more instability of the castle if we don't deal with that straight away.
So it's really looking at, getting rid of the roots is crucial to the ongoing stability, but it's how you then follow that up.
Well, we don't want to create more instability in the castle by killing the roots. We need to deal with those voids immediately, and I'd not even thought about that. So we had a chat to Historic Environment Scotland, and they said they reinforced the fact that they would expect us to do a tree surgeon to look at that, as well as a stonemason. So that then led us to thinking, well, if we're going to get a stonemason involved, we need to go and do the whole job. So rather than just going for the 35,000 or maybe a bit more, we should maybe look at the whole £350,000 plus a bit more as a fund. So we've made applications to the various funding organisations to raise that money, and we're in the process of discussing that with them at the moment. I don't think it's very hopeful for us to get all that money in one go, because we're too small, we're too young, we don't have any pedigree. But in any respect, what we need to do, if we're going to do anything, is we need to have a conduit from the funding organisations through to the council.
Because the council's going to be responsible for managing the contracts to carry out the work, and Friends of Strathaven Castle is responsible for raising the funds.
Yes, that's correct. We have commitment from the council to do everything apart from provide the money. And they're very enthusiastic about this. Let's not make any words about it. But they're really on our case, and they want to help and they want to support. But we have to get the promise, and it's a promise of money, Les. It's not actual cash in our hands.
Yeah.
Because nobody will give you the cash until you've done the work.
Yeah, it's something that always frustrates me in some of the funding organisations, that it's you do the work and then claim it back. It's as if you had the money in the first place. And
the way that we as a very small organisation can get around that is by having a partnership agreement with the council, which we've started talking about. And once that partnership deal is in place, that then will allow the council or the individuals in the council to commit money to doing the work, knowing that we have the promise of the money to pay them when it's done. So that's how we're going to do this, but we have to put those pieces in place before we can actually get off the ground. This is why things seem to be taking so long and nothing's happening, is because initially we had the money, but then we couldn't actually get the work done, and then we realised the work that we were going to do wasn't adequate. We needed a bit more, and you start pulling that thread and more comes. I think it's important to recognise that we can get lots of little grants given to us. There are lots of organisations that will give us £500, £1,000, £2,000, but we can't do any of these little projects like a bench or an information board until the castle is consolidated and stable and the gate can be opened again. So we need to spend the big money before we can start spending the small money.
And that's why it's important to have these kind of conversations going out on Avondale Radio, to let people know, because people don't always read Facebook, they don't always look at posters.
They don't.
You know, you need to use all the channels to get that information out. But I think it's important that people understand it's not ground to a halt. There is a lot going on in the background to make this happen.
There is, and we as a Friends of Strathaven Castle will be there at the gala as well. We got a stand at the gala where we'll have that display from January up on the wall, and we'll be there to answer questions for people and garner support and provide information so people can talk to us directly and find out what's going on. I'm also about to launch a request for letters of support from individuals and from businesses in Strathaven. This is going to go out through our website and the Facebook page, and I'm going to talk to the Strathaven Business Association and other businesses about providing us with a little letter that says, you know, we want the castle to be saved for this reason or that reason, this is what it means to us. And if we can compile a big list of these things, a big pile of these things, it adds so much weight for when we're applying for a bigger grant.
It does, but because grant funders are very keen to see community support, and everybody knows how important the castle is to the community. And it's important that you get those letters of support to back up your application.
Yes, it is. I've spoken to people in the council who manage the funding for the community support, and their guidance, their advice is about going for little grants first of all, to demonstrate that you as an organisation can manage the money. You've got the money going through your account.
Yep.
To generate that trust, that confidence by the funders to give you bigger funds. I mentioned we're a bit hamstrung doing that. But they also mentioned that if you want to go for bigger funds, just applying for the fund, particularly with the castle, which it's a difficult challenge to be able to demonstrate what the commercial value is of them providing you with the money, what the financial return is, what the revenue stream is for that. If we can get people to say, you know, the castle means this much to me because, you know, I took my wedding photographs were taken there, it's part of my life, or we'd like to take the nursery children up there for a day out, or we think the castle could be used for this, that, and the other, or the castle's intrinsic to our DNA as it's part of our logo in our, you know, and it's part of Strathaven. It means so much to us. We've got history there. We want to use it for this. We want to use it for that. That adds so much weight to funders.
Yeah, it does, and I think it's important that we can get as many people as possible to provide those letters of support.
Yeah.
And you know, I take it they'll be available at the gala if people want to fill them in.
They will. What I'd really like to do is have people get a digital copy so they can put their name on it and then reload it back up to our website to an email address. If I give people paper copies, we've got to just with them. They've got to be scanned in or something.
Yeah.
So it's not my preference, but yes, we will provide paper copies for people to take away and return back to us. But I do think in this modern day and age, people are more likely to want to do something by doing a click and doing a click.
Yeah, absolutely. But there are still people who prefer just a piece of paper.
There are. And I think what I'm looking to do is provide, for the individuals, provide a template, and we'll photocopy these and put them at the library, provide them at the gala. Hopefully you can leave them here at Climate Action. Strathaven, and maybe when I've spoken to the SBA, maybe some of those businesses will support them too, so people can access paper copies and sign them and return them. That might be a good thing to do. Yeah, so that's where we're up to. We've been quite busy in the background, going through all these hurdles, finding all these obstacles and trying to overcome them with the council and with HES.
I think it's just great to see progress getting made, because I think it's something like 7-8 years since the Community Council first raised the issue with the council. It's probably 5 years since the fence went up. So I think it's great for the community to know that Friends of Strathaven Castle is taking this forward in conjunction with the council.
Yes, you mentioned the Community Council first getting involved. It was the Community Council's involvement, I think, that led to the first survey that was done by the council in 2017. Yes. Which was very comprehensive, very informative, and priced very well by the council. And that investigation that was done in 2017 led to the follow-on structural investigation and the fence going up as an option. So, that was 2017, and the Community Council were intimately involved in that. And I think if we're talking about people who've been involved, I think we need to have a shout-out for Joni Reid, whose initial involvement managed to get the information from the council to us that helped us take a big step forward. And Mary McCann, who was absolutely instrumental in bringing the parties together to work collaboratively.
Yeah. That first meeting that Mary arranged that brought the council, Community Council, Friends of Strathaven Castle, HES.
It was instrumental in getting us off the ground to where we are today. So,
that's where we are.
so kudos to those people who actually helped us get off the ground and have shown interest all the way along. And of course, Margot McDonald, we have to remember Margot's done an incredible amount of work.
Oh yeah.
For us.
Margot's done so much work in supporting from day one. It was me, Margot, and Gordon McCallan that went along to the council to talk about it, and Margot has pushed it ever since. She has.
She was instrumental at the beginning of the year in helping us bring together the packages of funding that we were looking for. Excuse me. So, a shout out to those people who have been pushing us and helping us get on to the next step. But yes, now, of course, now the Friends of Strathaven Castle, we've now got a great team with Jan as our chairman and me as the vice chair, but we've also got other people who are specialists in the field, including an individual who knows how to do funding applications, which is fantastic. And another individual who can do the marketing and the development, who's done a fabulous website. And I would really encourage people to try and find that website.
Yeah.
Have a look at it.
No, definitely all the information's there, and we'll continue to give updates on Avondale Radio. But go to the Friends of Strathaven Castle website and you'll get all the information you need there.
Thank you, Les.
Great, thanks Jeremy.
Thanks for having me in.